Welcome to Thankful Thursday. So today is the last day of the week as we have a bank holiday tomorrow on Friday. And this is the most important day of the week at the moment for us while we're at home on lockdown. It is because this is the day that we go out on our doorstep with our neighbours and we clap our frontline workers in the NHS to say thank you. So I hope you've all been clapping and showing your appreciation, whether it's with rainbows in your windows or banging your pots and pans really loudly when you come out on your doorstep. But I think it's really, really important to say thank you to those people who are risking their lives every day for us. Now, in light of that, I would like to read you this quote, which I found to be quite poignant today. There is something you always must remember. You are braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. So never give up and never think that you can't do something. Okay, don't listen to anyone else. Just focus on yourself and think, actually, I am brave, I am strong, and I am smart. And always remember that. So for today's lesson, you are going to need chapter 7 of your Suffragettes text. That is the last chapter, so we are finishing the book today. And you need your multiple choice questions, the to-do part. An exercise book or lined paper, a pen, a pencil, a ruler, and your inference skills today. Okay, so the date today is Thursday the 7th of May. And your guided reading LI is to understand the author's reasons for writing the text. So I want you to pause the video here. I want you to get all those things that you needed and your LI and date written down and underlined in your books. Okay, so in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at the whole book in greater depth. You are going to first of all, however, read chapter 7 and complete the multiple choice questions. Okay, so go ahead, do that first, and then I will see you once you have completed that. So pause the video here. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next part of our comprehension, which is our open-ended questions. So for our questions today, we have 5 questions about our chapter. I hope you enjoyed the ending to that story, and I want you to go through the chapter and find the evidence for each of these questions in the text. Okay, they are quite straightforward, so you should be able to find everything. Please remember to take a picture of your work and email it to us at the Year 6 email address. So we're going to pause the video here and I'll go through the answers with you once you are complete. Okay, so the first question says, the rally had shown the impressive martial arts skills of the suffragettes who are now being called the suffragettes in the press. Why were the suffragettes being called the suffragettes in the newspaper article? So if you remember from earlier chapters, we found out that the suffragettes were being trained by Edith in the art of jiu-jitsu. Okay, so suffragettes is a play on words from jiu-jitsu. Okay, so that's why the press were calling them that name. Number 2, before the big march, London department stores sold out of dresses in the suffragette colours. What does this tell you about what was happening to the number of suffragette supporters? So this suggests that they were increasing. The number of people that supported them was going up, and they all wanted to show support by wearing the colours of the suffragette flag, which were, remember, purple, white and green. Number 3, the crowd seemed to know who she was and roared their approval as she stepped forward. What does the word roared tell you about the way the crowd reacted to Miss Violet Vane? So it tells us that the sound the crowd made was extremely loud. The supporters were excited to see her and were very passionate about their beliefs. And they could not believe that someone as celebrity as Miss Violet Vane was going to be there to help raise the troops, raise the atmosphere and make people feel more empowered. Number 4, what evidence is there of Marcus feeling proud of his mother's behaviour? So he says, I never realised until today what a strong woman she is. Why shouldn't women like her become... Sorry, I'm just going to move. I won't be able to move it. So there's a bit written behind the screen there. So why shouldn't women like her be allowed to maybe think the country would be better for it? Okay, so he's proud that she is able to voice her opinion. He's proud that she's a strong woman and that she sticks up for what she believes in. And number 5, never give up hope and we shall get our dearest wish, she told them, smiling. Ethel, Marcus and George already had. Okay, so why did they feel like they'd already got their dearest wish? Well, because if you remember from earlier on in the book, their main thing was to be able to see Miss Violet Vane. That's what they were waiting for. They were so excited, and that was the thing that kept them together, that love for her. So the fact that they got to actually meet her and speak to her was absolutely amazing. So mark those. Please do your corrections. I've seen some people sending in some work with their corrections in there, which is really, really good. That shows you're really taking on board what I'm saying. Okay, so please send that to me now. You can pause the video here while you take a picture of your work and upload it on the email address. Okay, so like I said, we were going to do some extra guided reading work today. So I want you to now look back at chapter 6 and 7 of the story. Now I've sent it on the email for today, the overview email that I've sent it to you every morning, and I've attached the PDFs of chapter 6 and 7 for you for today. Okay, so you need to go back and read those just to recap your memory. Not 7 maybe, but 6 definitely, because you read it yesterday. Answer the following questions about the writer's motivation in full sentences. So there's 5 questions there about why the writer has chosen to write about certain things, and I want you to answer them in full sentences. So number 1, why do you think the author wrote the story Suffragists? So there is a reason why, and I want you to explain to me why you think the author wrote it. Number 2, do you think the story is of historical importance? So is it something that you think people will actually learn from, a story that people will learn about the suffragettes? Number 3, why did the author include characters from different backgrounds? So remember, there is a range of characters there who all do different jobs as well. So why did they include that? What was the importance of it? Number 4, why was it important for the author to include the character of Emmeline Pankhurst in the story? So although she's only there for a fleeting moment in one of the chapters, I think it's really important to note that the author has used this character in the story, and you need to explain why. You might have to Google her to get a bit more information before you answer this question. And number 5, do you agree with the author's choice of ending, or would you change it? So that is a matter of opinion. What do you think about the ending, and would you like to change it? So I'm not going to go through the answers for this on this video. I would like you to send me your answers so I can go through them and mark them myself, just to see how you got on and if you're able to meet the LI about the author's motivation. Okay. I really want to award lots of class chart points to you and certificates, so please make sure you do your best on this task. Okay, we're going to pause here while you do this task, and then we will move on to our English lesson. Okay, so English lesson for today. Again, the date is Thursday the 7th of May 2020, and your learning intention is to understand the difference between direct quotes and reported speech in a newspaper article. We have done this before, so it will be kind of a recap for you, but it's really important that you can remember the difference between direct quotes and reported speech. So we're going to pause here while you write the date and LI and underline them in your books, please. So your success criteria is to create a list of important people. You're going to be able to write direct quotes that are related to the article. You're going to use speech marks correctly, and you're going to introduce quotes correctly. Okay, so how is speech used in this article? I'm going to read it to you, and then I want you to think about how speech is in there and how it might be different. So where is it direct and where is it reported? The police just got everything off the road for me. I was in the fast lane, on the hard shoulder, anywhere I could get through and where I had a clear path. At the same time, they were talking to me and advising me. He said the situation reached crisis point when officers told him there was only a short stretch of motorway remaining, with a roundabout at the end. It was decided I should get onto the hard shoulder and turn off the engine, which is what I did. The only trouble was a car had pulled over onto the hard shoulder. I could see the car in my path, and I could see 1 or 2 children inside, and that is why I had to steer into the crash barrier. When the driver saw me approaching, he was off like a shot. The lorry came to a halt near the Scratchwood services, tearing up a large section of the crash barrier. Mr. Rayner was shaken but unhurt. Acting Duty Inspector Jerry Bartlett of Hertfordshire Police said of the driver, it was basically down to his expertise and his bravery in actually forcing the truck to stop. So this is an article of a truck driver who lost control of his lorry and wasn't able to brake, and so he had to use different maneuvers in order to avoid an accident. So how do you think they have used quotes, direct quotes, and reported speech in this article? So pause the video here, and I want you to write down what you think the difference is. Okay, so we're going to move to the next slide, and I'm going to show you an example of the difference between the two that have been used in this article. Okay, so if you have a look here, it says, Mr. Brown said, I can't believe my luck. And then it said, Mr. Brown said that he could not believe his luck. So which one is direct and which one is reported speech? What do you think? Pause here. Okay, so did you get it right? So direct speech is where speech marks are used, and reported speech or indirect speech is where speech marks are not used. So remember, for direct speech, it is when the person is actually speaking, and when it's reported or indirect speech is when someone is reporting about somebody saying something. Okay, so that is the difference between the two. So if we look through one more time at the definitions, direct speech uses speech marks, the speaker's actual words, new speaker, new line, narration about who said it can go before, after, or in amongst the speaker's actual words. So you could say said, shouted, proclaimed, answered. You could have lots of different ways of introducing that direct speech. Okay, but the main thing is, you remember, you have to use speech marks. And the reported speech does not use speech marks, changes pronouns, and often also changes the word order, adjusts the verb tenses and time phrases if necessary, usually starts by telling you who spoke, often uses that, but you can omit it, you don't have to use it. So for example, we could say, Mrs. Joshi told me that I had to do my work. Okay, that would be reported speech. Okay, so now you have an activity to do. It might be easier for you to now refer back to the PowerPoint that I have put on Purple Mash on the blog, so you can look at that to get these questions in front of you, so it's a bit easier to see. Or you can pause this video and have a look. I will also be sending this on the email that I've sent this morning, so that will be on there too for you. Okay, so have a look through. You need to use the rules to turn the following short sentences into reported speech. So I'm going to ride my bike later, said Paul. Paul said he would be riding his bike later. So you're just changing it to reported as if you're telling someone what Paul had said. And you need to go through all of those different sentences. Again, please make sure that you have taken a picture and sent it in to us. Sometimes it might be easier for you, if you want, to write the answers straight onto the email and then just send it to me. Then I can see how you're doing. Okay, so we're going to pause the video here so you can do the task. Okay, for your final task for this lesson, I want you to think about preparing for writing your article next week. So I would like you to first choose 3 people you would like to interview for the article. You can choose from a range of characters from chapter 6 and 7. Okay, so please refer to the chapters to remind yourself. So remember, you've got George, you've got Edith, you've got Violet Vane, you've got Marcus. Okay, there's so many different characters that you could choose from. I just want you to choose 3, and I want you to think of 3 questions that you would like to ask them. So for example, if I would like to interview Edith, I would ask her, do you think the suffragettes will succeed in getting women the right to vote? Do you think jiu-jitsu makes you feel empowered? And would you like to teach men too? Okay, so those are my 3 questions that I would like to ask these characters. So please make sure that you've completed this work, because those are the kind of questions that you are going to create answers for when you're writing your article and putting your quotes in. Okay, I really look forward to receiving your work. I really hope you have a wonderful 3-day weekend and that you enjoy the time with your family. I want you to pause the video here and I want you to do this task, and I want to see all of your work. And I really look forward to speaking to you next week. Take care.